How
It's
are
not,
you today?
I'm not going to be recorded, right?
You are
Yes.
recorded.
Oh my gosh. I don't want to be recorded. Okay. I'll do my best.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What you say about today? How you doing today? How's your life?
I'm doing good. I just got off work. Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah.
Pretty good.
Okay.
Hanging with the baby all day.
Oh, okay. Oh, little man.
Yeah.
Oh, how is he?
He's good. He's just all over the place already.
It
Just
don't take
messing with
long.
stuff already.
How's
Yeah.
Leasia?
She's good. She started working, so she's
Uh,
happy.
where is she working?
Chick-fil-A.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Her
cool.
next year of school, he wants to work. So.
Okay.
All right, go ahead for it.
Yes.
But, so I know that you were one of the first people who actually purchased the book, Creative
Oh,
Therapy. So,
okay.
yeah. So
How could
I
you
figured I would ask you first.
Oh
Talk about
no.
it.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Well, I have to tell you, I haven't read all of it.
Okay.
So when I got it initially, like the day it came, the day it came, I went through it, and of course I looked at the pictures and stuff, and I read some of the things like around about George, but I didn't really get into it a lot. And then yesterday when you text me, I'm like, oh, I have to go ahead and read this, and I didn't get as far as I wanted to because I worked today. So, but I have some thoughts.
You do. Okay. All right. Well, let's hear your thoughts.
Okay, so okay, well, let me step back a little bit. So, and this is being recorded, really.
It is. But it's not live. It's not live. It's being recorded. I am planning on sharing all of these conversations on my YouTube channel. And,
Okay. Well, it'll be up to you if you want to share. So, what initially, let me just I'm gonna step back beyond the book because there was a whole journey for me before even the book. So, whenever you start going with by Rae Taylor, I just have to tell you, I kind of felt some kind of way about that,
okay.
and I'm like, well, yeah, I did. So this has nothing to do with what does kind of have to do with the book, but. So initially, I'm like, okay, so what's this about? I felt like you were kind of putting some distance between yourself and the other Jefferson side of the family. So
Oh,
anyway, just all
no.
the, well, okay, so we can talk
Okay.
about that. But anyway, so then when when I saw that, you finished the book and I still had that whole disconnect, I think, with the whole name thing. So at first I was like, oh, okay. So I was like, I'm going to go ahead and get it because, of course, I'm going to support you. But I didn't feel, I still felt a little uncomfortable with this whole thing. So the book comes and, and I go through it and I looked through some, like, again, the pictures and I read through mostly a lot of things about George. And some of the things, I think the very first, well, I'll tell you which one was it. Is it not? Yeah, Evolved Woman.
Mm-hmm.
So I read that and I felt like this is a week or two ago, whenever I initially got the book, I felt like there was a disconnect for me as far as I'm like, who is this person? I don't know her, and I felt like this is not the person that I knew because I don't remember like any of this.
Mm-hmm.
So all I have to say, and I just, I'm like, oh, this is really odd. So I kind of I have a habit of if I don't feel comfortable with something, I'm just done with it. So I put it aside. So then when you text me and said, do you want to, if we'll have this conversation. So I was like, okay, I better read this book. So I picked it up and I read Evolved Woman again. And I saw it so completely different than I saw it the first time. I have to tell you.
Okay.
I thought it was intensely personal.
Yeah.
It's your story. And honestly, this morning, I felt like it's really courageous, to be able to just kind of put it out there that way. After I just completely saw it differently. And I'm like, wow. Because, I kind of internalized it a little bit more. And I'm like, I don't know that I could be that brave and just put it out there. So it's courage, you know. So just all I have to say is I see it really differently than I initially looked at it. Very, very courageous. It's very personal, and it's your story, and it's your story, you know. So it's just your story.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
so first,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
well, I didn't expect for any of this to be going that way, but I'm glad it did. And that's why I wanted to have these conversations with people. And I don't want anything already talked about beforehand, because I want to answer questions as they come along, so that I don't, you know what I mean, have a weird answer or anything like that. So first of all, like I said, I want to share this video.
Yeah.
So for people who don't know, this is my Aunt Donna. And she watched me grow up, and she did see the sweet of me. But there is also other things that had happened in my life that, you know, of course, that she isn't aware of. So yes, this is my Aunt Donna. We share the same last name, which is Jefferson. Taylor, actually, the name, I came up with the name because my mom's last name is Taylor. I'm not, well, up until now, I've been a pretty private person. So when I started logging into social media, I didn't never wanted to use my original name, because I just didn't want, you know, I just didn't want to be seen at first. So I took Taylor, and the reason I took Rae is because people will be like, growing up, I would hear, "Hey, little Rae," or people think my name is Rae Dawn instead of Radon. So they're always saying, "Hey, Rae," and I just was like, well, I'll take that. Now, this is before my brother joined social media, so he don't have anything to do with my choosing of that name. So since my name on social media was Rae Taylor, I figured making it my pen name, because for one, women still, you know, are treated differently than men. I said, well, this could be a male or a female. No one will really know, because I don't put my pictures on a book initially. So I was like, well, I'll just use that as my pen name. And then, you know, I still have my Radon. I'm Radon, the kids, and I'm Radon. But when it comes to performing or anything else, I'll use my pen name. So it's nothing personal between the Taylor side or the Jefferson side at all.
Okay.
It really is just that simple. I didn't have no grand plan. I just was like, well, this is my name on social media, so I'll just use that. Yeah, that's pretty much it, you know.
Well, I moved on.
And actually, the very first book, my first book, which I said I revised it, so I have a copy for you. It actually, the dedication is to Granddad. Granddad's name is in the book. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We're not going to start crying. We're not going to start crying.
Okay.
Okay. So, yeah. So Evolved Woman, I'm glad that you finished it, because honestly, the first time I performed that, I was just like, whew, am I about to say this? You know, because when I read it to my sister, I read it to Renisha first. And she was like, you know, are you about to say that in front of people? And I was like, yeah, because her reaction, anytime I can make her go, what, you about to say that? I'm like, good, I'm gonna say it, because then I'll get the attention, I'll grab people's attention, and it is my truth. Like, it's sharing a lot. But I do feel like throughout these stories, I'm gonna help somebody. Somebody is not going to be afraid to speak up on things, or it will stop them from doing the things that they're doing before it gets too far. You know what I mean? Because I was doing things too quick. I was trying to live too fast, too young. So that's what Evolved Woman is. But I love like how I like the journey of it, the high and the low, and then how I ended it. You know, of course, you gotta.
Well, you yourself, you wouldn't be who you are today without your story, and without the life that you live. You know what I mean? But I had to come to that, because I still saw you as my little niece. Do you know what I mean? So initially, what? You know. So like I said, I had to, like, the first time I was like, whoa. I even actually talked to KK about it. I was like, I don't remember this, you know. But it was a different. You were living your life, and I was living mine. And it was, do you know what I mean? So you have your story and I have mine, which is, not your story. So you wouldn't be who you are today. You wouldn't be sitting here talking about it if you hadn't lived that story.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. Everything I write, everything that I perform is all really basically my life experiences. Like, and it may not be something that has been big and blown out of proportion, but it may have been something that happened that made me feel some type of way, and I just turned it into this, long story. And a lot of, like, you brought up Georgie, so a lot of what I write does revolve around that situation, because it was like a very unreal thing, and it took a long time to accept the fact that he's gone. For me.
Yeah. I know it's hard. And let me just say this. I think when you come to, I don't, again, this is the life, this is your story, and the thing with George and everything, you were so close to it, and we all knew it happened, but it wasn't really until when you did the Brown monologues that it like hit me like, wow.
Yeah.
It's so deep, because I don't know, if you're not in it, you're kind of removed from it, and then you forget that people went through something like that.
Right. Right.
So it wasn't when you did the Brown monologues, I left there feeling like, wow, that was crazy,
Yeah.
So
it was heavy.
Yeah.
It was certainly heavy, and like Denisha's 20. She's 20 years old, and it still hits the same.
Yeah.
It really does. So it still hits the same. And I actually, talked to her about it when I submitted the information for Brown Mama Monologues. I did talk to Denisha about it, and I'm like, would you feel some type of way if I share this part of my story? Because of course she feels different. So if you have her writing something, her story is going to be way different than mine, and that was probably one of the hardest bearing things that I had to do. And all of the women were very supportive. Like it was really hard to get through. Getting through the actual, what is it called? The audition of it was so hard. And I'm like, oh my God, why am I still so emotional about this? This was 18. At the time, it was 18 years ago. And I'm like, it took a while, but I got through it. And then I started listening to other women's stories. And I was like, oh my God, this is great. Like, we all have journeys, And so I had to put that in the book. I had to put that in there.
Of course. Well, that was a big part of your life, And because even after he's gone, it's still a big part of your life, Yeah, because it still affects you. So.
It does. It does. Yeah. Every day. Yeah. But that was that's probably one of the stories I feel like will help someone more than anything.
I'm sure.
Because it happens a lot. It happens, our men are getting killed either by our own or police, whoever in it, and people are losing their fathers left and right. And then the kids feel like, for a long time, Denisha thought she was the only one who was going through this. And I'm like, wow, you have no idea. Like, this is like an everyday thing.
Yeah.
And it's really difficult to deal with, but we still have to live. So how else to get through it than to like share? I'm not going, I've been containing so much. All of this has been contained forever. I've been writing for a long time. I've never talked to you about it. I've never talked to Nicole about it.
Never.
Yeah.
Right. So. And I'm like, that's why I was like, what? But I know it happened. So again, I just think it's courageous, because so many people never get that out.
Right.
Never. They just live with it, and it's bottled up, and it affects them however it affects them. Probably a lot of times very negatively. But they never get it out, because it takes really a lot of courage, I think, to even say some of the things that, you know, just be really fully transparent that way.
Yeah.
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 It did. Did you have a chance to listen to the interview I did with Regine?
Was that the podcast?
Yeah.
I did.
It was pretty long, but you did listen to it? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Even after I left out, I mean, when she sent me the replay, I was like, okay, this is good. I'm like, wow, you know, this is real. Like, I'm really like relieving myself. This is like therapy for me. That's why I named the book Creating Therapy. Like, I created my own therapy for the longest time. I just, you know, people don't believe in going to go and talk to somebody seeking help for anything that's going on in your head. We don't believe in that stuff, like mental issues and stuff like that. And, you know, at some point you don't want to let things get too far before you release that. So this is basically my release. The first book, My Poetry is Private, it was good. It was good. I did have to revise it because it was my first time, you know, publishing. So it took a long time. and when I went back to read it again, I was like, oh, this needs some work. And so this second time around, I feel a whole lot better about publishing this one.
Okay.
A lot more details.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Well, good.
So far you read My Loss, My Love, and Evolved Woman. Have you touched on any others?
You know what? I went all the way to write this. Actually, I did before. Like I said, I already went through about 5 or 6 of them actually before. But like the ones that are like was fresh in my head was actually from this morning. Okay. And it was one thing that I need to kind of find it. It was one of my thoughts.
Okay.
Wait, where is that? I loved it. Having the capacity for thought can be held against you because no one wants to hear you actually say something. I thought that was so deep and so true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why do you feel that?
Yeah, I had put that on. I put that on Facebook a while ago, okay. And I was like, let me throw that in the book because I be feeling like when people have something to actually say that, you know, you can learn from, or, you know, food for thought, basically. When somebody got something to say, you don't get the attention, or people don't really pay attention. They hear you, but they really aren't listening until I can say one thing, and I'm not real flashy. I don't have like 1 million followers, and I don't spend my entire day on social media. So I could say something, and then you can have someone else say the same exact thing, and they'll get heard, you know, before I will. So that's why I said that, because I'm like, typically, if I am writing something or if I'm performing, it's going to be a message. You know what I mean? And it may not be something that affects me directly, but like for example, Forgot to Forget, when I'm talking about how you know, you may need the red book to travel the roads, and talking about lynching and talking about, you know, stuff that has been going on to, you know, black people for a very long time. I touch on stuff like that because it hurts me. It hurts all of us. It bothers me. So although I wasn't there when it happened, I still can say I have knowledge on it because I read about it. I teach my kids about these issues. We talk about this all the time. But if I got on live on social media and started talking about it, nobody's going to want to hear what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like we spend so much time sharing stuff that's like garbage. This really doesn't matter, and it's just silly that, you know, we tend to don't really hear when someone has something really, you know, important to say, or something that's really going to matter or could actually impact you or whoever else, you know, if you really digest it. And I think especially when it's somebody close to you, you know.
Oh
A lot
yeah.
of times, you know, you kind of discount that, like, you know, oh, you know, yeah, this is all she's doing this, but you know, the biggie. So I think that's a lot of times. So you have to kind of, we all have to do better with stopping and just really taking it in, because we tend to want to push those things like that away, or not really take it serious when we should do better. You know, we should do better. We can all learn from each other. You know?
Right. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
for
Yep.
sure. Yeah.
And
So that was that. Yeah. I'm trying to think what else I did. I got to this morning. I got to burn. I got as far as burn, but I actually had more than that before. Actually, it was funny because one of the pictures, I guess it's Naisha's brother,
yeah.
Jordan, looked at the picture. He's like, "Oh, I know him. He's my fraternity brother."
Uh-huh.
You know that? I didn't say that.
I didn't. Well, I know. I figured. I didn't know they knew each other, but I know they did were in the same fraternity.
That's so funny. Yeah, Jordan, as soon as he looked at the picture, he goes, "Oh, I know him."
Yeah.
Like, okay, small world. Okay,
Very.
so yeah, I probably actually read more than I'm even saying, honestly, because again, the day it came, I laid in the bed and I read quite a bit of it, but it was a few weeks ago. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
that's like I read like I Am a Wife. I read that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that one, and that's pretty deep too.
Yep. Thank you.
I thought it was like, yeah.
That's
So
these men be playing around.
yeah,
They,
yeah. You should have just listened to me. No,
I know.
no, you should.
I don't
You know
know.
what? Michelle Obama actually makes a comment, and I don't know her exact words. Did you see her Becoming?
I did. It was good.
Yeah. So do you see, like, when she talks about, you know, just sharing your story, because your story is your power, you
Yeah.
know?
Yep.
Yeah, when she's, I mean, and it's so true.
It
That's
is.
that's the power, you know? Everybody has their own. So you didn't
It
follow
is.
me. Yeah.
And you could grow up in the house with someone, like, I basically grew up in the house with you
Mm-hmm.
and not even see what else is going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not that I wasn't comfortable with. I don't think it wasn't that I wasn't comfortable with sharing it. I just wasn't ready.
Yeah.
I just wasn't ready, and everything that was going on just was like I said, it was contained, it was compressed in
Yeah.
me. And then I was writing it down. I got notebooks upstairs from when I was a teenager. I still have a lot of stuff. I just now I realize I could put it into a format and make it into a story or a poem. Like over time, I started paying attention to like Nina Simone and
Yeah.
different poets and storytellers. It just was like, wow, like this is me. This is the stuff that I write, and this is how I think. So then I started becoming comfortable with letting it out when I started meeting people who were like, oh, come do this show. And I was very uncomfortable. That was uncomfortable, but
Yeah.
over time, you just do it. You get up there. I used to get up there and just talk real fast to get it out.
I can't even, honestly, I still can't see how you do it. I can't, I don't think I could ever do that, I'm very private. I'm
Yeah,
just
you are.
anyway. Yeah. So to me, to get up and share all kinds of stuff like that I can't see me ever being able to do that. That's why I say it's just courage, because there's nothing wrong with it. It's just that
Right.
it takes some, a while to get ready, get used to that, and just to get yourself to that point. I don't see it. However, whatever the venue is that you need to get it out, whether it's poetry or a song or dance or whatever,
Right.
Yeah.
But I enjoy it. I am encouraging the younger generation to be a part of it. Like you come to the event I had for the teens. Did you come to that one?
No, I don't. Wait a minute.
It was at the Glitter Box. I thought maybe you were there.
I was there.
When
is that Destiny and Liasia?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's what I think them getting it out earlier at an earlier age, it will stop the rotation of so much things going on in their head as they get older. I feel like it'll help them out a lot more. And in this generation, they're they're quicker to do things to themselves, like hurt themselves and stuff like that. Than I wasn't hurting myself. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be upset that I'm going through something, but I'm not hurting myself.
Yeah.
So I think that was an outlet. That's an outlet for them, and I look forward to doing it again whenever all of this stuff is over.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah. I'm glad that you did join me, and I am going to probably post it on, more than likely, I'm posting it on YouTube, and I'm going to share it, and enjoy the rest of the book. I'm going to be doing more talks with other people, so as you see more people have questions about other things, and you'll be probably looking back at it like, oh yeah, I've seen that, you know.
Yeah. But no, I'm really proud of you. I mean, it's a fantastic book, because sometimes you have to, just like a movie, you have to watch it sometimes more than once.
Yeah.
So and you pick up different things, and that's kind of how it was. So like when I read the same thing 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and read it now, I got something completely different from it. So yes, I'm going to take my time and just kind of go through it and read it. Yeah.
All right. Enjoy all of it. And Naisha, this is her artwork.
I know. I saw that.
That's my girl. That's my girl.
I'm so proud of her.
Yeah. She's awesome. She didn't know I was going to use that. So, yeah.
She was surprised.
She was surprised. She was like, why did you use that? That's not my favorite piece of work. I said, I needed something that looked like somebody was in therapy, and this is perfect.
Yeah. She's talented. She's talented.
That's my girl.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I hope you have a good evening. Tell everybody I said hello.
I will.
All right. Thank you for joining me. Creating Therapy on Amazon.com. Get you a copy. All right, Donna. Love you.
Love you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.